Commander Nadia Volkov stood at the observation deck of the Earth's first contact vessel Horizon, watching the approaching ships of the Galactic Conclave. Their vessels gleamed like polished crystal, a display of technological superiority that would have impressed most species. Volkov simply noted their structural weaknesses. "They're scanning us again," Lieutenant Ramond reported from his station. "Seventh detailed scan in the last hour." "Let them look," Volkov replied, maintaining her calm demeanor. "They'll see exactly what we want them to see." The Horizon had been deliberately designed to appear primitive by Earth standards, its true capabilities hidden beneath layers of quantum camouflage. The Conclave's initial greeting had been exactly what Earth's xenopsychologists predicted, a mixture of condescension and barely concealed alarm. A sentient species from a Class 12 death world? Impossible. Such creatures should be mindless brutes, not spacefaring civilization. First Contact Specialist Zaratha's hologram materialized in the conference room, its luminescent tentacles rippling with what humans now recognized as anxiety. "Commander Volkov, the Conclave High Council has reviewed your species' application for membership. They have concerns." "Understandable," Volkov responded, her cybernetic eyes recording every subtle shift in the aliens' bioluminescence. "We're eager to learn from more experienced spacefaring civilizations." The lie tasted bitter, but necessary. Humanity had already surpassed the Conclave in many ways, their quantum technology centuries ahead. But Earth's strategy was clear: let them underestimate us, let them think they're in control. "Your species' aggressive tendencies are concerning," Zarath continued. "The fact that you developed fusion weapons before achieving faster-than-light travel suggests dangerous instabilities." Volkov didn't mention that Earth had abandoned fusion weapons decades ago in favor of far more sophisticated quantum-based defense systems. "We understand your concerns. Humanity is committed to peaceful cooperation." The meetings continued for days, each interaction carefully choreographed. The Conclave believed they were dealing with primitive deathworlders who had gotten lucky. They never questioned why humans seemed so accepting of their restrictions, so willing to be guided. In her private quarters, Volkov connected to Earth's quantum network, her consciousness linking directly with the Strategic Command AI. "Phase 1 proceeding as planned," she reported. "They've classified us as a potential threat requiring supervision." Director Marcus Wong's avatar materialized in her mind. Perfect. Their arrogance makes them predictable. Have they attempted to access the Horizon's secure systems? 3 times in the last hour. Their quantum decryption algorithms are primitive. They don't even recognize our defensive systems as technology, they think we're just using basic encryption. Wong's avatar smiled. Keep them thinking that. The longer they underestimate us, the more time we have to prepare. Has Dr. Patel's team completed the quantum grid infrastructure? Ahead of schedule. The Conclave's scanning technology can't even detect the construction. They see what they expect to see, a primitive species stumbling into the galactic community. But the Conclave's patronizing attitude was already shifting to concern. Humanity was too calm, too accepting of their place. Species from deathworlds should be aggressive, challenging authority at every turn. During one particularly tense meeting, Council member Zitva finally asked the question that had been bothering them: "Your species evolved on a planet that should have produced only savages. How did you achieve this level of restraint?" Volkov allowed herself a small smile. "When everything on your planet is trying to kill you, you learn patience. You learn to think before acting. You learn that survival isn't always about being the strongest." The answer seemed to satisfy them, but Volkov saw the ripple of unease pass through the alien delegates. They were starting to realize that perhaps they didn't understand humans as well as they thought. In the following weeks, the Conclave imposed their guidance program. Human ships would be restricted to certain trade routes. Technology transfers would be strictly controlled. Earth's expansion would be supervised. Humanity accepted every restriction with gratitude and grace. Meanwhile, in hidden quantum laboratories across Earth's sphere of influence, Dr. Patel's team was completing work on technologies that would reshape the galaxy. The Conclave thought they were containing a dangerous species. In reality, they were giving humanity exactly what it needed: time. Time to build, time to prepare, time to ensure that when the truth was finally revealed, there would be no possibility of conflict. As Volkov watched another Conclave patrol pass by her ship, she remembered an old Earth saying, "The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting." The Conclave would learn this lesson eventually. She just hoped they would be wise enough to accept it when the time came. Dr. Rajesh Patel stood in his underground laboratory beneath the Himalayan mountains, watching quantum probability streams dance across holographic displays. To the Conclave's primitive scanners, the facility appeared to be nothing more than an abandoned mining complex. They would never understand how their own arrogance had driven humanity to create wonders. "Run the simulation again," he instructed the quantum AI. "Focus on dimensional stability across all projected nodes." The laboratory hummed with energy as billions of calculations processed through quantum matrices. "Simulation complete," the AI responded. "Quantum grid stability at 99.97% across all projected coordinates. Warning, Conclave patrol detected in upper atmosphere." Patel didn't even look up. The Conclave ships had been making regular passes over Earth's primitive research facilities for months now. Their scanners, searching for dangerous weapons development, were blind to the quantum revolution happening right under their sensors. "Dr. Patel," a voice called. He turned to see Director Wong's hologram materializing. "The Conclave just announced new restrictions on human research initiatives. They're concerned about our rapid technological advancement." Patel allowed himself a small laugh. "If they're worried about our public research, I wonder what they'd think of this." He gestured to the quantum probability streams. "The quantum grid is nearly complete. Once activated, it will give us control over fundamental forces across human space. And they still have no idea. They don't even have the theoretical framework to understand what we're building. Their technology is focused on brute force, bigger engines, stronger weapons. We've moved beyond that paradigm entirely. The quantum grid was humanity's masterpiece. Thousands of seemingly innocent installations scattered across human territory, each appearing to serve some mundane purpose. Together, they formed a vast network capable of manipulating the very fabric of reality. A proximity alert chimed. Another Conclave inspection team, requesting permission to examine the facility. Patel activated the quantum camouflage protocols. When the aliens arrived, they would see exactly what they expected: primitive research into basic particle physics. The inspection team's leader, a towering insectoid named Crixtel, clicked its mandibles in barely concealed disdain. "Your species' persistence in pursuing restricted research is concerning," it stated. "These facilities must be simplified. For your own safety, of course." Patel played his role perfectly, appearing appropriately chastised. "We understand, Observer Crixtel. We're merely trying to improve our understanding of basic physics." If only they knew what basic physics meant to humanity now. In the quantum realm, Patel's team had discovered principles that made the Conclave's understanding of science look like children playing with blocks. After the inspection team left, satisfied they had found nothing dangerous, Patel returned to his real work. The quantum grid wasn't just a defensive network, it was a key to understanding reality itself. Latest test results from Node 47, his assistant Dr. Yuki Tanaka reported. The quantum entanglement field successfully altered local physical constants within a 10-kilometer radius. The Conclave satellite in orbit didn't detect a thing. This was humanity's true strength. Not the ability to survive on a death world, but the wisdom gained from that survival. While other species developed technology through brute force, humanity had learned to work with the fundamental nature of reality itself. Deep in the quantum probability streams, Patel could see potential futures branching and merging. Most species viewed time as linear, space as fixed. Humanity had moved beyond such limitations. Director, Patel called, activating his quantum link to Earth command. I think it's time we move to Phase 3. The grid is ready. Wong's response was immediate. Are you certain? Once we begin, there's no going back. The Conclave will eventually realize what we've built. They've left us no choice. Their guidance becomes more restrictive every day. They're not trying to help us develop, they're trying to ensure we never advance beyond their control. The decision was made. Across human space, quantum grid nodes began powering up, each one carefully calibrated to avoid detection. The Conclave, watching for weapon signatures and power spikes, remained oblivious to the fundamental changes occurring around them. In her ship above Earth, Commander Volkov received Patel's quantum transmission. How long until the grid reaches full capacity, she asked. 2 weeks at most. We're bringing nodes online slowly to avoid drawing attention. When it's ready, we'll be able to alter the basic laws of physics within human space. Their weapons will become useless, their ships blind. And if they attack before we're ready? Patel smiled. They won't. Their own protocols prevent them from taking direct action against primitive species without extensive documentation and approval. By the time they realize what we've built, it will be too late. The quantum grid grew stronger each day, its nodes pulsing with energy that the Conclave couldn't detect. Humanity had learned long ago that the best way to win a fight was to ensure it never began. The Conclave thought they were containing a dangerous species. In reality, they were witnessing the birth of something they couldn't even comprehend. As Patel watched another day's test results stream in, he thought about the irony of their situation. The Conclave's fear of humanity's potential had driven them to create exactly what they feared, a power that could reshape the galaxy. But unlike the Conclave, humanity had no interest in domination. They wanted only what they had always wanted, the freedom to grow, to learn, to explore the true nature of reality itself. The quantum grid would give them that freedom, one way or another. And when the time came, the Conclave would learn why species from death worlds were truly dangerous, not because of their strength or aggression, but because they had learned to turn apparent weakness into unprecedented power. Ambassador Helena Durand watched the Conclave security footage with growing horror. The attack on Research Station Athena had been brutal and swift, justified by false readings of weapons development. 37 researchers dead, including 12 Conclave citizens who had been working alongside humans in what they thought was a primitive medical research facility. They're calling it an unfortunate accident, she told the emergency session of Earth Command, her quantum projection appearing in their secure chamber beneath Mount Cheyenne. A malfunction in their weapon systems during a routine inspection. Fleet Admiral Victor Santos's weathered face hardened. Accident? Their ships fired on a civilian research station without warning. Dar. Patel, what was the real reason for the attack? They detected quantum fluctuations from our medical regeneration research, Patel explained, his hologram flickering with barely contained anger. The technology uses principles similar to our quantum grid. They couldn't understand what they were seeing, so they assumed the worst. The Athena station had been developing revolutionary medical techniques, using quantum manipulation to accelerate healing and cure diseases. To the Conclave's primitive scanners, the energy signatures had appeared similar to weapon signatures, but only because they lacked the fundamental understanding of quantum mechanics necessary to recognize the difference. We have the proof, Durand said, transmitting quantum encrypted data through their secure network. One of our deep cover operatives in the Conclave Council managed to access their sealed records. This wasn't a random incident. They've been planning to contain humanity for months. The records painted a disturbing picture. The Conclave had been systematically sabotaging human development, not out of fear but out of a twisted sense of responsibility. They believed that humanity, as a Death World species, needed to be carefully controlled to prevent us from becoming a threat to galactic peace. There's more, Durand continued. They're preparing to establish permanent oversight bases throughout human space. Their ships are already moving into position. Director Wong's hologram leaned forward. Dr. Patel, what's the status of the quantum grid? 98% complete. We could activate it now, but without full coverage, there would be vulnerable areas they could exploit. Santos stood, his cybernetic eye glowing as he accessed tactical displays. They're not giving us a choice. Their fleet movements suggest they're preparing for a full military occupation. How long do you need to complete the grid? 48 hours minimum, Patel replied. We've been careful to avoid detection, bringing nodes online slowly. If we rush it now, they might detect the power signatures. Durand's diplomatic training warred with her anger. We could try one last diplomatic approach. Appeal to the broader galactic community. No, Wong interrupted. The Conclave has controlled the narrative too long. To most species, we're barely civilized brutes who got lucky with space travel. Any complaint we make will be dismissed as primitive aggression. The quantum sensors chimed a warning. Conclave ships were entering orbit around every major human world. Their weapons were powered but not yet active, a show of force designed to intimidate a lesser species into compliance. They expect us to submit, Durand observed. Their psychological profile of Death World species suggests we'll respond to a display of overwhelming force by accepting a stronger authority. Santos laughed darkly. They really don't understand us at all, do they? Humanity didn't survive Earth by submitting to stronger forces. We survived by outsmarting them. The decision was made. Earth Command initiated Protocol Omega, a contingency they had hoped never to use. Across human space, hidden quantum transmitters activated, sending coded messages to every human ship and installation. Ambassador Durand, Wong said, I believe it's time for your final meeting with the Conclave Council. Durand nodded grimly. They won't know what hit them. In the Conclave's crystal spire chamber, Durand faced the assembled council. High Speaker Vexenar's tentacles rippled with what humans now recognized as smug satisfaction. The Conclave has decided, he announced, that humanity requires direct supervision to ensure proper development. This is not a punishment, but a necessity. Your species simply cannot be trusted to develop responsibly without guidance. Durand stood, her quantum implants recording everything. I understand, High Speaker. Humanity has just one response to offer. She paused, letting tension build in the chamber. Look up. Above the crystal spires, the sky suddenly shifted. The quantum grid, hidden for so long, began to reveal itself. Thousands of nodes activated simultaneously, creating a visible network of energy that encompassed all of human space. What is this? Vexenar demanded, his translator struggling to convey his shock. This is why Death World species are dangerous, Durand replied calmly. Not because we're aggressive, but because we learn to see opportunities where others see only threats. You thought you were containing us. In reality, you were giving us time to perfect technologies you couldn't even imagine. The Conclave's mighty warships found their weapons suddenly powerless, their engines reduced to minimal function. Humanity had changed the very laws of physics within their sphere of influence. You have 1 hour, Durand announced to the stunned council. Withdraw your forces from human space, or we'll be forced to demonstrate just how much more we've been hiding. As chaos erupted in the council chamber, Durand allowed herself a small smile. The Conclave was about to learn that underestimating humanity had been their greatest mistake, and possibly their last. Fleet Admiral Victor Santos stood in Earth Command's quantum center, watching as reality itself shifted across human space. The quantum grid pulsed with energy that the Conclave's sensors couldn't comprehend, transforming the battlefield in ways they had never imagined possible. Status report, he commanded, his cybernetic eye processing multiple data streams simultaneously. Conclave fleet attempting to maintain position, Lieutenant Zara Patel reported, her hands dancing across quantum interfaces. Their weapons are non-functional within our sphere of influence. Attempted communications with their command structure are being blocked by their own protocols. Santos nodded. The Conclave's rigid hierarchy was working against them. Their ships couldn't retreat without explicit orders, but their commanders couldn't issue those orders without going through proper channels. They had become prisoners of their own bureaucracy. Dr. Patel's quantum projection appeared in the command center. Grid stability at 100%. We're ready for Phase 2. Do it, Santos ordered. Across human space, the quantum grid's true purpose began to reveal itself. It wasn't just a defensive network, it was a tool for fundamental transformation. The laws of physics themselves began to shift, but in subtle, controlled ways that the Conclave's primitive understanding of quantum mechanics couldn't grasp. Their mighty warships found themselves unable to target human vessels. Their advanced sensors, searching for traditional energy signatures, were blind to humanity's quantum-shifted technology. Even their FTL drives were reduced to crawling speed, unable to generate enough power to break free from normal space. Message from Ambassador Durand, Zara announced. The Conclave Council is demanding explanations. They want to know how we achieved this level of technology without their detection. Santos allowed himself a grim smile. Show them. Throughout Conclave space, quantum probes that had been hidden for years activated. They didn't attack or destroy, they revealed. Every secret military installation, every hidden weapons cache, every classified research facility suddenly became visible to all species in the galaxy. You wanted to know how we did it? Durand's voice rang through every Conclave communication channel. We learned from you. Every patronizing lesson, every restriction, every inspection taught us exactly what you look for, and what you ignore. In his laboratory, Dr. Patel activated the final phase of the quantum transformation. The grid wasn't just affecting physical space anymore, it was changing how different species could perceive reality. Suddenly, every being within human space could see the quantum probability streams that humanity had been manipulating all along. What are these patterns? A Conclave commander demanded, their translator struggling to convey their awe. This is how we see the universe, Patel explained through the quantum network. Not as something to be controlled, but as something to be understood and worked with. Your species spent millennia trying to force reality to obey you. We learned to dance with it instead. The revelation was having an unexpected effect on the younger Conclave members. Instead of fear or anger, many were showing signs of fascination. They were beginning to understand that humanity's achievement wasn't just technological, it was philosophical. Admiral, Zara called out, we're detecting quantum signature changes in multiple Conclave vessels. They're powering down their weapons voluntarily. Santos watched as the mighty Conclave fleet, the most powerful military force in known space, found itself faced with something it had never encountered before, a species that had surpassed them not through superior firepower, but through superior understanding. Message from Earth Command, Zara reported. Director Wong is asking if we should reveal the rest of our capabilities. Santos considered for a moment. No. Sometimes the possibility of what might be is more effective than any demonstration. Let them wonder what else we've been hiding. Across human space, research stations that had appeared primitive now revealed their true nature. Medical facilities began sharing quantum healing techniques that the Conclave had dismissed as impossible. Transportation networks demonstrated capabilities that defied conventional physics. But perhaps most importantly, humanity was showing restraint. They weren't using their advantage to destroy or dominate, they were using it to illuminate and advance. The Conclave Council is requesting an emergency session, Durand reported through the quantum network. They're starting to realize that everything they thought they knew about us was wrong. Good, Santos replied. It's time they understood why Death World species are truly dangerous. Not because we're aggressive, but because we never stop adapting, never stop learning, never stop seeking new ways to understand the universe. The quantum grid continued its gentle pulse, a visible reminder of humanity's hidden strength. But it wasn't just a show of power, it was an invitation. An invitation to see the universe as humanity had learned to see it, to understand that true advancement came not from controlling reality, but from learning to work in harmony with it. As the conclave fleet hung powerless in space, Santos thought about the irony of their situation. They had tried to prevent humanity from becoming a threat to galactic peace. Instead, they had pushed humanity to develop capabilities that could ensure peace in ways they had never imagined possible. The age of conclave dominance was over. The age of understanding was about to begin. 1 month after what became known as the Quantum Revelation, Ambassador Helena Durand stood before a very different conclave council. Gone were the crystalline displays of power, the subtle hierarchies of seating arrangements. Instead, representatives from all species sat in a circle, connected by streams of quantum energy that made their thoughts and emotions visible to each other. The transformation has been remarkable, Durand addressed the assembly. In just 4 weeks, the quantum grid has enabled advances that would have taken centuries under the old system. Former High Speaker Vexenar, now serving as a regular council member, raised a tentacle. We were wrong about your species, Ambassador. We saw your Death World origins as a mark of primitiveness. We never considered that surviving such conditions might lead to a deeper understanding of reality itself. In orbit above Earth, Fleet Admiral Santos watched the proceedings through the quantum network. The Conclave's mighty warships now trained alongside human vessels, learning not just new technologies but new ways of thinking. The quantum grid had revealed something profound about the nature of intelligence and cooperation. The medical applications alone are revolutionary, Dr. Lyra Venti, a former conclave scientist, explained to the council. By allowing us to see quantum probability streams, humans have shown us how to heal at the fundamental level of reality. Diseases we thought incurable are being eliminated. Injuries we thought permanent are being reversed. Dr. Patel's team had been particularly busy. The quantum technology that the conclave had feared was being freely shared, under proper safety protocols. Transportation networks were being revolutionized with quantum tunneling. Communication was now instant across any distance, thanks to quantum entanglement. But the most profound change, Durand continued, has been in how we understand each other. The quantum grid doesn't just allow us to manipulate reality, it allows us to see through each other's eyes, to truly comprehend different perspectives. Species that had been enemies for millennia were learning to work together. The quantum grid revealed the interconnected nature of all things, making it impossible to maintain the old prejudices and fears. In his laboratory beneath the Himalayas, Dr. Patel worked with a team of scientists from across the galaxy. Young conclave researchers worked alongside humans, their natural talent for quantum manipulation finally unleashed from artificial restrictions. We never imagined this was possible, a young conclave physicist admitted, watching quantum probability streams dance through the air. We were taught that reality was something to be controlled, dominated. You showed us it's something to be danced with. Director Wong's quantum projection appeared in the lab. The transformation is happening faster than we predicted, Dr. Patel. Are you certain we can maintain stability? Patel smiled, gesturing to his diverse team. Look around you. We're not maintaining stability, we're achieving harmony. Every species brings their own perspective, their own insights. Together, we're understanding reality in ways none of us could have achieved alone. The quantum grid pulsed gently, its network now extending far beyond human space. Other species had begun developing their own nodes, adding their unique perspectives to the growing consciousness of the galaxy. We were so afraid of what a Death World species might become, Vexenar admitted to Durand after the council session. We never imagined you would teach us how to transcend our own limitations. Commander Volkov, now leading joint human conclave training missions, found herself reflecting on how far they had come. "We spent so long hiding our capabilities," she told her mixed crew. "Now we're achieving things we never imagined possible by working together." The quantum grid had become more than a tool, it was a symbol of a new way of existing. Species that had once competed for resources now worked together to reshape reality itself. The power to alter physical laws had led not to chaos, but to unprecedented harmony. In Earth Command's Quantum Center, Santos received reports from across the galaxy. Former conclave worlds were discovering that cooperation with humanity led to advancements they had never dreamed possible. The age of restriction and control was over, replaced by an era of shared discovery and growth. There will always be challenges, Durand concluded her address to the Council. Change never comes easily. But remember this, humanity spent years pretending to be less than we were, not out of fear, but out of hope that force wouldn't be necessary. Even when pushed, we chose to demonstrate power through enlightenment rather than destruction. She gestured to the quantum streams visible throughout the chamber. This is our legacy to the galaxy. Not domination, but illumination. Not restriction, but possibility. We emerged from our death world understanding something profound. True strength lies not in the ability to destroy, but in the wisdom to build. As the quantum grid pulsed with the combined consciousness of countless species, a young conclave initiate looked up at the visible streams of probability and potential, and understood what humanity had known all along: the universe wasn't something to be fought against, but something to be danced with. The war cry of the Deathworlders had turned out to be not a roar of destruction, but a song of transformation. And across the galaxy, species that had once lived in fear were learning to join in the dance.